Okay, we kind of go through the various screens. We've gone through the main screen. You can select auto or manual from this screen. Start position screen we've kind of gone through, auto mode, manual hydraulic, the manual air miscellaneous. The input screen you can get to from here simply shows in your inputs that are currently active. It's a nice maintenance tool. You can manually try to manipulate the proximity switches and see what's going on there, and as well as the output screen. You can kind of see what outputs are being actuated. From this screen, you can also go to your timer screen. These are the various timers. They all operate in the same way. The blow delay and the cope, blow delay and the drag are to give the option if you want half the mold to blow, and then the other half you would plug in a delay here. In this case, is if you have a 1 second blow time, one or the other would be at 0. So say if the cope was at 0, the cope would blow first. It would blow for that 1 second, and then your delay would kick in for the drag. What happens is if you wanted a 2 second delay for the drag, you'd have to plug in 3 seconds, because it's going to delay from the start of the blow cycle. It's going to allow the cope to blow for 1 second, so the timer starts at the same time. So it'll blow for that 1 second, 2 second delay, then the drag would blow for 1 second. So you'd have to plug in that situation, to plug in 3 seconds for the delay. Table cushion is as the table comes down. It's about 2 inches from the bottom. There's a proximity switch. It basically kicks on your slow draw feature, so it kind of slows down so it doesn't slam the drag half of the mold down. You can set the timer, so you set that in conjunction with your slow draw. See how long it takes to come down there, and it'll release whenever it hits the switch or the timer, whichever comes first. Cope bump time is really not used in a top blow machine. We left the feature in there just in case. It's more for the side blow machines to accommodate any drift where the cope plate may drift down a little bit. You can bump that back up to take some of the pressure so it doesn't inadvertently strip the cope half of the mold. The delay for the sand level is as the sand's pouring over the sand probe, you'll get intermittent yes and no's, or sand present or not present. This delays the signal to make sure you don't get that bouncing around. So it'll delay the signal until it's a little more, so it is in fact full and you're not getting the intermittent. Kiss time is the time that it takes from the time the drag goes up and hits the switch is called 1/2 inch from kiss. In effect, it's the space, it's the thickness of your pattern. So we call it a 1/2 inch from kiss. It's going to be closer to 3/4 of an inch for a 2620 pattern. But as it comes up the kiss, it trips the first switch, which kicks in this timer, allows it to go up for the kiss cycle. Again, this timer is going to have to be kind of played in conjunction with how fast or slow you have your kiss and dump valve set to how much it's going to creep up to keep from crushing. So it's going to either strip on the timer or on the kiss proxy, whichever comes first. Then the way it all strips, the slow draw and the cope, is a timer to allow the pattern to come off of the cope half of the mold. Then it'll go a little bit faster. That's the fast draw, to get from that position down just prior to it sits on the cheek flash sits on the pins. Then the slow draw and the drag will kick in. It will slowly set it back to its base on the pins and continue to slow draw the drag half of the mold off of the pattern. And then once that times out, it'll go fast again until it hits bottom, and then the pattern will get out of the way. So that's your timer screen. You can go back to any of these and go back to the main. So again, your output screen, gets you to your timer screen, back through input or output, which then you can go back to your main screen or your hydraulic. So you get used to the positioning of the screens.